Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Nick Tan Chats. My name is Nick Tan, and on today's episode I'll be chatting with you guys about something called the Palm Reader card by David Alnwick. So hi again guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for showing up, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for spending some time with me today. So on today's episode, I'll be chatting with you guys about something called the Palm Reader card released by David Alnwick. So previously, I've done 2 episodes for David previously, and I've just said previously too many times. So yes, I have discussed 2 items from David on this show actually, and the first one was something called Fringe Mentalism, and then the second one was his release with the 1914 called The Nightmare Page. And David is back with something new of his. This is called the Palm Reader card. Okay, now what is the Palm Reader card? Well, I'll just show it to you really briefly. It's a 2-sided card, but I will just show one side to you. Okay, and you'll understand why as we chat a little bit more about this. Okay, so this is what the card looks like. As you can tell, there is an image of a palm over there, along with 12 categories. Okay, that a spectator can choose from. So what happens is you hand this card to a spectator, and they will look at this side of the card. Okay, and there are 12 categories that the spectator can choose to have kind of like a reading, okay, like a palm reading, things like destiny, romance, career, friendship, creativity, that kind of thing, right? So they would mentally choose one of these categories in their mind, and then you tell them to turn to the other side of the card, okay, which I won't show you, and then from there are like some areas, or rather some lines that their category would kind of fall under, okay, I suppose. And then from there, once they tell you which lines, okay, you are supposed to read, you have the information, you immediately know which category they are thinking of, and then once you proceed into your your reading, your palm reading, you can really accurately zero in on the category before eventually revealing it if you wish. So yes, that's what the effect is. It's really a tool for you to carry around in your wallet, for you to do this kind of a palm reading, guided by the ability to ascertain which category the spectator is interested in. So I think just listening up to this point, those of you who are well versed in mentalism will kind of know what this is based on, okay? And I've previously reviewed some items as well that has this sort of thing. The first time I actually got exposed to this method, all right, this concept as applied to a mentalism kind of a routine was sometime in 2006, I think, when Rick Roth, okay, over at Outlaw Effects, okay, remember Outlaw Effects? They brought out something called Kyoku, okay, which is memories, okay, and that effect used 4 cards, and the spectators would choose a category, a memory to focus on, and then using the 4 cards, you would kind of figure out, I suppose, which memory they are thinking of, and then along the way, there have been other people who've used this concept. Phil Smith, for example. Louis Laval has a couple of applications for this, something that he calls sign, I think, where zodiac signs are used, and then iris as well, so there have been a couple of applications of this concept, and David has actually applied it to a hand reading, palm reading kind of an effect. So what do you get when you purchase the Palm Reader card? Well, you get the card itself. Okay, again, I'll just quickly flash it to you over there. It's a plastic kind of a card, and it will last you a really long time, fits in your wallet, and it's ready to go anytime. Okay, so along with the physical card itself, you also get access to a 2-hour video. All right, a 2-hour tutorial video, and on that video itself, David will talk about the inspirations behind the effect. He'll give some crediting as well. He will discuss the Palm Reader card with a buddy of his, Tom, I think his name was, and then they'll both take you through the basic handlings of the Palm Reader card. And then David will also have 3 guests, okay, appearing on this tutorial. Okay, the first is Joe Diamond. So David will have a Zoom discussion with Joe and talk about how he uses the palm reader card. There is also a discussion with Alexander Marsh, okay, and Alex will also take you through his thoughts, you know, and ideas as well on using the palm reader card. And last but certainly not the least, my favorite section was the section with Scott Creasy as well, you know, and if you know Scott's work, he's really big into readings, you know, and things like that. So he comes along, gives his thoughts, he gives you a kind of studio performance as well of how he would perform the palm reader card. They both get into a discussion about other ways of, you know, using this on stage even, you know, which I thought gave quite a bit of value, you know, to the tutorial, considering it's just a simple kind of an effect. So my card actually came with a nice kind of handwritten note as well, you know, which was really nice of David. And then David also included one of these little stickers, you know, these Star Warsy stickers for me, which was nice, I suppose, but I'm not sure why he did that, because, you know,
I'm not really a Star Wars fan.
So what are my thoughts on the palm reader card? You know, I think it's a great item to keep in your wallet, you know, whenever you're out and about. I suppose it's the perfect EDC, you know, to carry around with you. And you can perform a kind of like a palm reading thing that gives you, you know, quite an accurate reading as well, you know, because you already would figure out, even before you begin the reading, which category the spectator will be interested in, you know, and from there you can really just tailor your reading to suit the particular person, the participant that you are working with. So in its most basic form, right, you could just have the spectator think of one of these categories and then just tell them the category that they're thinking of, but that's probably like the worst way to do it, right? So once you have kind of secretly ascertained which category they are, you know, they're interested in, from there, I mean, for me at least, you know, I would just get rid of the card really quickly and then just go into a palm reading for them, okay? Now, when I say palm reading, well, you don't really need to be that deep into it, you know, but I think just having some basic knowledge of palm reading would be useful when using this, okay? Because it'll be a bit of a waste, you know, to just blurt out the category that the participant is thinking about, right? What I would do and what I would suggest is to just learn some basic palm reading stuff. You know, I think Paul Vudini actually released something, you know, palm reading for magicians or something like that, which I thought was really great, you know, and you can just do a little bit of that before kind of, you know, steering your reading towards the category that the participant is thinking of. And you know, if you are the reader kind of a person, you know, you wouldn't even be, you know, concerned with nailing the exact category, right? You would just do the reading and that's it. But you know, us being mentalists, you know, we want to have that effect, right? So I think this gives you a perfect way of, you know, giving you the ability to do that, right? To, you know, dip your toes into giving readings, knowing that you have a fail-safe, because at the end you have the category reveal to fall back on. And of course, you know, this can be used in many other ways. You know, once you have the category in your mind, you can really just go into, I don't know, it might be complicating things a little bit, right? But you could go into a kind of OA kind of a routine with 2 billets, maybe 3 billets, mental epic style. You know, I'm just throwing out ideas there, whereby you could have the person think of names of people involved, you know, in this category of theirs, you know, the timeline in which they want it, you know, the problems that they face, and then eventually you can have the last billet, the last card, be the actual category as well, right? So you could do that kind of a thing, but you know, that probably might be routining it a little bit too much, you know. I think as it stands, just telling them to think of the category, work out which lines to read, and then just place the card away, go into a reading, you know, having a really accurate kind of a reading, and then you can kind of reveal the category at the end if you wish, all right? If it were me, I think I probably wouldn't do that. You know, I would just kind of hint at the category, but I won't verbally kind of say it or verbally reveal it, right? I think the last thing I would do here is to, you know, get a pad and write something down. And what was your category? Destiny? Destiny, you know, that kind of a thing, right? It's not this kind of a trick. I think as it is, you know, it makes for a really nice, interactive, intimate routine as well for a participant. But yeah, that's all I pretty much have to say about the palm reader card. Again, it is what it is. If you know this method, then you kind of understand how it works already. But it's a really interesting tool for you to have, for you to kind of give readings and try to give readings, knowing that you have a fail-safe, with the category reveal, okay? And also, there is no memory work involved, right? I mean, memory in the sense that you have to remember the method, right? But in terms of the categories, you don't have to remember anything because once they tell you the lines that are involved in the reading, all you have to do is to take a little glance, and you have the category already, okay? And you have perfect motivation as well to look at this side of the card, because there's an image of the hand over there, and it tells the participant the lines as well, so you do have the perfect motivation to look at the palm there and then get your information from there, right? And I think another reason why David felt that this application of that basic method is great is because it's kind of motivated, right? Because in some other versions, it's just kind of like, 4 cards and is your number here, is your number here, is your number here, right? So it's not motivated, but in this case, the process is kind of interwoven, intermelded, the process is part of the method as well, and I think it's motivated. So I think, this makes for a really practical and logical item to carry around. So I want to thank David for letting me have a look at this so that I can chat about it with you guys on this show. If you'd like to pick up a copy of the palm reader card for yourselves, I will leave the link in the description box down below. But that's all for today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it as well. Till the next episode, do stay safe, take care of yourselves, have fun with your magic and your mentalism, and I will see you on the next episode of Nique Chats.